Hey, what's up, guys? Outcast Anime coming at you again. Coming in for his first What If video. This will be a very good What If video, something that I've been thinking about a while. But before we get into What If, I do want to say, unfortunately, due to some stuff that's been going on in my life and like that, content has been slowed. I would have preferred to put my first video out about 3 or 4 days after my introduction video came out. But unfortunately, due to some PC restrictions, um, I've just now been able to get it out just now, do some storage issues and things like that. But I got it solved, got it fixed out, now we're good. And in that time, I've got to pick up a few more skills, as you'll see from the thumbnail from this video. I got a bit more editing skills, even if it's pretty basic, but I like it. But that being said, let's get right into this What If video. Okay, so this video is much about being what if Shushi lived, and I think this has a big impact on the story personally, a lot. And this will be in part segments. I will be covering various arcs, things like that, to my personal belief. If you think otherwise, feel free to comment down below what you think might have been different, what I might have gotten wrong in your opinion, things like that. That being said, getting right into it. Excuse me there. But I believe this would start with around the time where Shushi would have kind of started his downfall with his death, when he was fighting Danzo. When he met Danzo in the, I believe it was the Root Hideout. Yes, the Root Hideout. When he met him in the Root with all his Root members, I personally believe Shushi would have been able to see this coming. He would have expected, okay, Danzo knows about Momonosuke abilities. Not knows about them, but he knows I have them, and he has some idea what they can do. So he was going to take them from me, of course. And Shushi was already kind of distrusting Danzo at that point in time, as it was due to the whole Anbu incident and things like that. So I assumed he would meet with Danzo. Danzo would obviously try to talk him down and get close to him to take his eye. And I think Shushi would just not have any. I've just noticed that my curtain is not protecting my clothes. Yeah, that's what's behind the curtain, guys. My clothes. I'm in my closet, a little recording studio. But getting back on topic. So I believe Danzo would attempt to fight Shushi, and Shushi would just not have any of it. Shushi being known as one of the fastest shinobi of all time, able to move so quickly he can make little duplications of himself, not physical duplications, but visual duplications of himself on Anbu level shinobi, kind of leans to Shushi being a very quick person. And I personally would say that, at least in movement speed, he's faster than Danzo and obviously any of the Root members in this area. And for those who didn't know, one of the reasons of why Shushi was going to die was because he got poisoned by one of the Root members, specifically an Abarambe member. And that's why he decided to kill himself, because due to all the combat and fighting that was going on, he ended up thinking, okay, there's no way I'm going to survive this. The poison spread too much, and I just need to die. But in this scenario, he doesn't get poisoned, because Swishi's smart. He looks at Danzo, realizes he's interested in my eyes, and he just fucking dips. He just dips out of there. Using the body flip technique that he knows, if any of the normal Root get in his way, he can either just kill them or incapacitate them, which he is, I personally think, skilled enough to do so. But even this What If, I'm going to say he is. He would easily escape Danzo and everyone else. And worst case scenario, he has to, as we've seen, he can, at least in filler and game filler, he was able to bust out the full skeletal Susanoo. Not full skeletal, like the rib cage and up with the head and arms with his weapon. He was able to manifest it with one eye, and he was exhausted and nearly half dead. I definitely think he could manifest the skeletal Susanoo if he really had to. And as we saw, a much stronger Danzo was struggling to even get through a more advanced version of a Susanoo, but still, I don't see Danzo really getting through that very easily. And so, worst case scenario, he does fight through the Root members if he has to. But I see him just escaping, as he's able to do, in my opinion. And the first person he goes to is obviously Itachi, because Itachi is going to be his confidant. He knows about everything else. He tells Itachi, Danzo tried to kill me, and everything else. And then of course, Tachi believes him because Tachi is like his brother, not his actual physical brother, but they're like brothers. So they team up, and they don't go after Donzo. No, that's not. I personally don't think Donzo and Shushi could kill Donzo along with all the root members. Personally, I don't think they could do it. Or at least they would be able to do it, but they would be very risky. I see them just going to Hiruzen, and Hiruzen would, as at this point in time, Shushi's already told Hiruzen about the Aku, and Hiruzen has no reason not to believe Shui, and he knows that Donzo's a kind of a slippery snake kind of guy. So I believe personally he would believe Shui and Itachi, especially with his two strongest Anbu/root members there to talk to him. So I think what would happen is they would probably get those two, obviously Shui, Itachi, Hiruzen, a younger Hiruzen, who I think could probably put up a good fight against Donzo. They might grab Kakashi because Kakashi is very strong at this point. You know, Sharingan, Chidori, things like that. A few other, a few other shinobi. I mean, if one of the Sani, if Jiraiya or Tsunade is around, he could definitely grab them. That would actually help. I don't think they would be around in this scenario, but in this kind of point in time, but they might be. But who knows if they're not? They are. Then they either with just those four or a few more, and of course the Anbu as well, storm the root base. Obviously, they might honestly grab Fugaku. Fugaku might be a little untrustworthy at first, but I think with his son and one of his greatest allies being on this side, I think Fugaku would go along at least semi-willingly. They would raid the root organization, probably kill a lot of members, which we'll get further into impact on that in later parts. I believe Donzo is gonna realize there's no fucking way he's taking out Hiruzen, Itachi, Shui, Fugaku, and whoever else is there, along with 40, 50, 60 Anbu members. Even if you want to say a lot of them like died to root members or whatever, still I would still think a large portion would still be there. And I think Donzo would just leave. I think Donzo would straight up just say, F this, I'm out. Donzo is a very cruel person. I think he would very much easily just leave the root members to die. Maybe grab a few like Yamato and Sai, maybe. Yeah, Sai maybe not so much because Sai's pretty young. So at this point in time, he'd probably be really young, so I don't think so. But Yamato maybe, could be an option. And he just goes on the run. I think once Hiruzen and Itachi and Shui, get him out of the village, I think it's that point where it's okay, we can deal with that later. Right now, let's deal with the stragglers of the root organization and find out some other stuff. At this point in time, if Fugaku's fighting beside them, definitely I think Fugaku's going to start believing what Hiruzen says. And after this whole thing goes on, I think Hiruzen and Fugaku sit down and have a discussion. And they talk about, okay, first of all, we did not put you in the edge of the village because we hated you or distrusted you. That was Donzo, not me, and not the elders. It was, we wanted to put you out there because you are probably one of the strongest clans. I mean, again, the Uchiha are very strong, very powerful people, and they could probably repel most threats to the village, and especially with people like Shui, who's incredibly fast, and Itachi, who's incredibly skilled, be able to repel and warn other villagers if need be. And after a good long discussion, I believe Fugaku would believe Hiruzen, because Hiruzen never done anything to demonstrate before. And if he was like, okay, do you think I was the one that had something to do with the Ninetales attack? At this point in time, I believe Itachi has met Obito. Sorry about that. So I believe at that point, Itachi steps in and says, hey, there was this guy, I don't remember if Obito gave him his name. I think he just called himself Madara at that point, or he might have said Toby, but I think he said Madara. So it was Madara, Uchiha, Fugaku, and they were like, what? That's impossible. Madara's dead. It's like, well, this guy came out and he's the one that told me all this stuff. I don't know where he is, but this is who it was, and it's very much like if they don't believe them, they can have a Yamanaka member examine Itachi's memories. Again, going back a little bit, similar that if Hiruzen didn't believe Shui about the whole eye thing with Donzo, he could just have a Yamanaka member, probably Ino's father, just examine Shui's memory, which is totally possible. And same thing with Fugaku about the whole Ninetales attack. It easily can be done. And with that, it's pretty much the Uchiha clan gets to survive. They don't get massacred by Itachi or by anybody else. Chushu's alive. Itachi's alive. The only downside of this is Itachi, I don't believe will unlock his MS immediately, but I could definitely see him unlocking it later in life, definitely, which we'll cover that in the next few parts. Then we go over that. But that being said, guys, that's going to be the end of part 1, being the basically before Naruto or right around the time Naruto was born kind of area. So at this point, it has no real effect on Naruto's life at the moment. We might get into how it might affect later. Go ahead and give me some comments what you guys think would happen. I have a few ideas of my own, but I'd love to hear your ideas and everything that you might think. But that being said, guys, I was Outcast Anime, and I hope you enjoyed the part. If you did, give me a like and a subscribe. Comment down below some other comments, some other theories, and things like that. Anything you might want to see or hear me do. That being said, I'll see you later, my fellow outcasts.